breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Hello. All right, there we go. Um, Seems like there were some issues with the mic. Today's Tuesday. Today's Monday, December 29th, 2025. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I'm your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you today. Sorry about all the issues with the mic. I think we're back, and we're ready to get into some good stuff today. We're going to talk about the buzz over the weekend, which was one Bernie Sanders saying that apparently we need to slow down data center production. We're going to talk about the wealth tax being floated in California that has kind of caused a frenzy in X over the past weekend here. We're going to talk about Gmail letting users change their email addresses. We're going to talk about the Australia social media ban. An article in the Financial Times called The Relentless Rise of YouTube. Why your AI companion is not your friend. And the Google Pixel Watch 4 made me like smartwatches again. So let's go into some of the macro trends, and then we'll kind of dive in. There we go. The Dow Jones is down 0.43%. The Nasdaq is down 0.68%. The S&P 500 is down 0.46%, and Bitcoin is down 0.41%, down to 87,364.90 cents. Looks like it hit 90 earlier this morning, kind of early in the morning, like 3 a.m., but it came back down to below 90K. Before we get into everything I talked about, make sure to download Byte AI Market Analysis, which is a financial co-pilot available on the App Store, which basically tells you when to enter and exit the market. It does that based off of technical indicators like the Bollinger Bands RSI curve and the MACD curve, as well as news sentiment for that stock. Of course, it's not a financial advisor, neither am I. And past success does not indicate future results, but it's a great tool. I use it every morning when trading with Robinhood. So make sure to download it by AI Market Analysis on the App Store. Okay, without further ado, let's get into this clip of Bernie Sanders. And I'm going to go ahead and share my tab audio. So give me a second while I do that. Yeah, it's so weird. I'm in some weird technical difficulties today. Sorry about that. Usually it just goes right off the go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try one more time to do this. Otherwise, I'll just tell you about it. Okay. I think I see what happened there. Okay.
Right now, among many other things, we're seeing data centers sprouting all over the country, raising electric bills for people in the communities, et cetera. I think we need to be thinking seriously about a moratorium on these data centers. Frankly, I think you got to slow this process down. It's not good enough for the oligarchs to tell us it's coming, you adapt. What are they talking about? They're going to guarantee health care to all people? What are they going to do when people have no jobs? What are they going to do? Make housing free? So I think we need to take a deep breath, and I think we need to slow this thing down. One way to do it would probably be a moratorium on data centers.
The CEOs would.
Well, I think one of the things I think we need to do, and right.
Okay. Wow. So that was Bernie kind of talking about how we need to slow down data center production, as we know is in full swing here these days. I don't agree with Bernie there, because he's kind of taking it to, we need to have universal basic income, kind of like allied with Elon, just on that respect, obviously not politically, but just sort of like on that idea alone in terms of UBI, which is something that Elon has been talking about in sort of the past month or so, especially when robotics come out. So, but more heavily, in that clip, he's basically talking about how we need to slow down production. As I said, I don't think we should, because I talked about this a few months ago on an earlier show. I said the genie is all like, we're already seeing a lot of like bad ramifications, like a bad labor market, et cetera, whatever, but we're getting tons of productivity anyway. And it's like that product, like the chase of productivity gains for very little effort is never going to go away. It's just going to become like an insatiable like craving for these companies, for everyone really. And so the labor market is never going to get better. And what we need to do is rip the Band-Aid off. You know what I'm saying? Like, the genie is already out of the bottle, as I said a month ago. And here's Bernie saying, oh, well, let's just like slowly take off the Band-Aid. Like, that's not going to work. I'm sorry. Okay. Like, we got to be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, me, everybody, we got to be tough. That's how we survive this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't do that by saying, oh, let's put a little moratorium on, data centers. Hey, let's just slow down production. Okay, so I can have like a couple days of extra employment. No, screw that. Why don't you just like accept the reality and then just kind of, pivot yourself to face what's coming, right? Which is even more layoffs and like even more labor market weakness, right? So we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm kind of an accelerationist in that respect. It's like, whatever's coming, let's just get there right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's not wait. What's the point in waiting? There's no point. But yeah, all right. So let's move away from that and let's move into I'm still sharing my tab. There we go. All right. Let's move into the New York Times. This is the only video I'm going to share right now. A wealth tax floated in California has billionaires thinking of leaving. It's uncertain whether the proposal will reach the statewide ballot in November, but some billionaires like Peter Thiel and Larry Page may be unwilling to take the risk. So X was kind of bustling with this news over the weekend, and I'm going to tell you about it. So basically, a bunch of like unions and like labor unions and progressive groups came forward, like the Service Employees International Union, United Healthcare Workers West, which is a major healthcare workers union. Another healthcare organization like St. John's Community Health, a few other like of these like unions and I guess progressive groups came out. And I guess like economists from UC Berkeley and stuff. They came out and they came up with this proposal to like basically tax billionaires in California into oblivion. And yeah, this is really, really bad because the only thing keeping California afloat is tech in Silicon Valley. I mean, Y Combinator, hats off to them. They're doing a great job sort of keeping the AI talent in San Francisco. But if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for like, the other attractors of sort of young tech talent, California wouldn't be where it is right now. And it's like these progressive groups and labor unions want to kill the golden goose. So that's kind of what's going on. And apparently Gavin Newsom himself is opposed to it. And his opposition is seen by other progressives as, quote, protecting billionaires. But Newsom argues that it risks exacerbating California's business exodus and budget issues. Yeah, so, and it's really bad because it's just California's attitude, like the government's attitude. It's so bad. Like, you remember from 2020, this lady, Lorena Gonzalez, okay. Who is she? She is the president of the California Labor Union, former California Assemblywoman. And then, yeah, so I guess at the time in 2020, she was the current Assemblywoman. And by the way, she was also receiving $9,400 in contributions from none other than Chevron. So I only set that up because you remember she said in 2020, fuck Elon Musk. That's what she said in quotes. And then Elon responded, message received. Like, the entitlement of these Californian politicians. It's like, give me a break. Tesla moving to Texas because California lawmaker tweeted F Elon Musk. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has suggested an insult from California lawmaker was a key factor in his decision to shift his company's headquarters out of the Golden State to Texas. This is a different story. Elon Musk says he will take legal action after California officials cited his politics when rejecting SpaceX launches. Like, what are we even doing? Like, what is going on? Like, don't you realize that, you rely on these people to stay in the state? Like, what are you even doing? Washington Post. Musk claims that he will abandon California, move X and SpaceX to Texas. This is from July 2024. Okay, so, I mean, this doesn't affect me, obviously, but like, and I won't, name names because that's not what this is about, but it's like on X, a lot of people were very, very disgruntled about this. Very. Okay. So, like, how much, like, this is like, how much dumber can you get? Like, why is everyone just stupid? Like, I don't understand. Like, why are all of these people just so stupid? Like these Californian politicians, like what are you even doing? Gmail to let users change their addresses while keeping data. I'm just going to do a sound check real quick. Okay, we're good. Under the shift, which Google said would eventually be rolled out to all users, old addresses would remain active. Messages and services would not be lost. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, you get everything you need from the title and the subtitle, which is that Gmail is allowing them to change their addresses, their email addresses. But it's like, it's funny because X is definitely like a trailblazer, right? Because with community notes, before, like sort of pre-2025, right? It used, and pre-2024 kind of, it was more like the top downs tell you what needs to be censored and what needs to be taken off the platform and stuff. And now at like post 2024, it's like, well, X was the first one to do it though. It's like, why don't we have a community notes type feature, and then suddenly that takes off, and then Meta wants to copy it. And then X later on, kind of earlier this year, said, a few months ago, actually, not, it's kind of recent, X was like, oh, well, we're going to start having a X marketplace handle, or a handle marketplace. And then like I changed my username from real Dennis Cert to Dennis Cert. So yeah, so that's cool. But now I guess Gmail is like, oh, that's cool. Why don't we do that too after 20 years? It's like, okay, well, can you guys come up with an original idea, please? Or at least just accept the kingmaker, right? The king, Elon, you know what I'm saying? Like just say like, hey man, like that was such a good feature. Like we wanted to do it too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why steal credit? That's a bad look. Worn down by worry, parents look longingly at Australia's social media ban. After the country barred children under 16 from using social media, many parents have been asking whether similarly tough action is needed in their own countries. I think that government shouldn't get involved in what you do. I happen to agree with them on this point. Like, I don't think, like, personally, I don't think I'll be allowing my future kids to even have like a smartphone until it really matters, which is when they start driving, but that's like at 15, 16 anyway. And it's like, that's a personal choice though. Like, why is the government involved? The government shouldn't be involved in that. And then because you have to protect yourself in other cases where you don't agree with the government. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's like, yeah, I agree with the government, but it's like, yeah, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time they're against me, kind of me general, right? Most of the time they're against you. You just don't know it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just so bad. Like, the decision should not be theirs. The decision is ours. Okay? Because you got to let the people do what they want to do. If people want to eat junk food all day, if people want to have ultra processed foods, you have to let them. There's no saving anybody. Like, I used to think, like, I don't know, when I was like 15 or something, like, oh, like, hold on a second, other people should know about this, right? Other people, like, in terms of, I guess, like bad habits or whatever, like, let's, for an example, eating ultra processed food all day. But it's like, at some point I quickly grew out of that. When I was sort of a teenager, I was like, hold on a second. You have to let everyone do what they do. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Just keep your head down and just kind of don't be a loser. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can only really look out for yourself. So it's like, you kind of have to let people do whatever they're going to do. Otherwise, suddenly they ban you from going to lecture over like dumb things. And then they ban you a step ahead of that, which is what happened in 2021 and 2022. They ban you from going to Panera Bread. They ban you from going to Flour Bakery. Unless you're an upstanding citizen. Well, what does upstanding citizen mean? Oh, well, you have to wear a mask and then you have to do this and that. Well, I don't want to do this and that. Screw you. You know what I'm saying? The relentless rise of YouTube, the Financial Times, as well as being the dominant platform in podcasting and having a growing presence in live sport. I was doing a sound check. It is now the leader in TV and streaming in the US. I used to be all over YouTube when I was like 14. I'm still into YouTube, but it's like things have changed a little bit. And yeah, so first of all, I want to kind of give credit where credit's due. YouTube is doing better than all the legacy platforms, including all the cable channels, as well as Disney, Paramount, Netflix, Warner, Discovery, and Prime Video. So first of all, hats off truly for them. However, and YouTube used to be my favorite platform, but things have changed quite a bit even recently, especially with the advent of like Reels and stuff. You remember in like 2024, Facebook at the time, I guess Meta for Facebook said that they will be removing the Facebook News feature and then replacing it with, I guess, short form content, or at least like an emphasis on form content, and then everybody went into short form content. I think they were kind of late to the game actually, but so it wasn't quite. And then, but you get the idea. TikTok, Snapchat, everybody, and that is into short form content, and that includes YouTube. But apparently, YouTube or short form content isn't exactly monetizable very well. So so there's that. It's not very good for creators, and YouTube, quite frankly, used to be kind of a creator and user centric platform, but now, from what I understand, it's becoming more and more sort of a pay to play arena, meaning the big guys like MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever, they cut a check for $40 million hypothetically, and then that's all that users see. Suddenly you can't compete against that, if you're Joe Schmo. So you have to be careful about that. I mean, you'll see I think PewDiePie left, the Game Theorists, MatPat, he left, right? Smosh, they left. Ray William Johnson, that's kind of way back when, 2013, but yeah, I mean, it's all the big YouTube names in the late 2010s, almost all of them are gone, and it's they kind of saw this coming, and yeah, I mean, that's where we're kind of at. They're like the canaries in the coal mine. So yeah, that's kind of those are my thoughts on YouTube. But yeah, so I guess here's the Financial Times kind of glizzing them up. In an era when the currency in the entertainment world is the ability to hold the attention of an audience, YouTube has become one of the few essential platforms able to knit together new content that appeals to an online generation with the sort of programming that was once the backbone of cable TV. Yeah. Why your AI companion is not your friend. First, tech companies usurped the meaning of friends and connection. Now they're coming for, quote, companionship, by Martin Sandbu. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? AI girlfriends. At one point I was kind of thinking of making one on the real. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because you really have to be, because when you think about it, in order to go into this sort of industry as a technical founder, you really have to be like a rogue founder. And it's not even any of the content that excites me, right? Because I am a guy. But it's it's not even that. It's the idea of being kind of like a rogue founder, right? That's kind of cool, kind of. It's like being a pirate almost, right? Because you see all these VC backed startups, and it's some of them, I won't even say most, but some of them even don't have any daily active users or anything, but they have oodles of cash that are from venture capital. But it's what if it was the opposite? Which of course is it's not entirely hypothetical. There are lots of companies that are bootstrapped, right? But it's what if you were the founder, and it's of a startup where it's you have tons of daily active users, high as fuck retention, and it's you don't even have venture capital cash. Something about that's just super appealing for some reason. I don't know. It's just the idea of it, you know what I'm saying? Kind of just being, like I said, a rogue founder. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't made an AI girlfriend, but apparently there are quite a few out there. I'm not really, not even really, I'm not a user myself. But from what I understand, there are options available if that's what you're into. But yeah, I mean, the idea though of you're I don't know, quote unquote, pouring yourself into just an AI that will inevitably remember and know everything about you. I mean, I turned off my ChatGPT memory because of that, and it's I don't know. I like to stand on business when it comes to AI. I don't really screw around. It's write the code, bitch. All right. The Google Pixel Watch 4 made me like smart watches again. See, that's the thing about this. It's look how cool this looks. Like, don't you want a watch that looks like this? Not that piece of crap Apple Watch. Like, I mean, here's my take. Like, why doesn't Google just strike a deal with Apple? Because let's face it, like, I will never switch from my iPhone, and there are a lot of people like me in the US. It's like, it's actually the iPhone's pretty dominant in the US, as you know. But it's like, I will never switch from the iPhone and the Apple ecosystem. But this watch, I will make an exception for, but I'm not going to switch my phone though. So it's like, why doesn't Google make a really good deal with Apple, just like tens of billions of dollars a year, and then just allow iMessages to roll in? Like, it doesn't even have to be blue for everybody else. Just keep it green like it is or whatever, right? Then you can keep your little moat as Apple. But it's like, at least like allow, give out partial access to the developer interface or the API to Google, and that way, I mean, it's like a little rev share thing. Apple people can buy the Google Pixel Watch 4 too, and it's like it'll be fine and like it'll be okay. Just do a little bit of rev sharing. You know what I'm saying? Because they already do that. Because like Google pays Apple like what is it? I think it's $1 billion a year. It could be more, but I think it was $1 billion a year. It's actually like a lot more than that for let me pull it up here. Keeping the default setting, search engine rather, as Google on the iPhone. How much does Google pay Apple for keeping Google search as the default on iPhones? Answer as one figure. It's $20 billion a year. Just strike another deal like this and just make the Google Pixel Watch 4 an actual thing that Apple users can use, okay? Because I want a cool watch. Like, I don't wear a watch, but it's like I want a cool watch. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, I think we're gonna leave it there. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, and hope you guys have a Happy New Year here. I'll be back on tomorrow. Peace.